Hello everyone, I welcome you to my YouTube channel Professor Sevil Mandal. Here I speak about civil engineering and you will find my various video lectures regarding various topics of civil engineering over here.
So this is the 8th video related to the engineering hydrology which we are studying, and in the previous part we started the infiltration, and this video is actually the second part to the infiltration chapter of engineering hydrology. In the previous part we read about the basic things which are related to infiltration. We read the definition, what is infiltration, what is percolation, we tried to differentiate between them. We read about the infiltration capacity and also the maximum rate infiltration capacity or the field capacity. We studied about the infiltration rate, the hydraulic conductivity, the factors that affect the infiltration capacity, and then after we studied the factors affecting infiltration capacity, we went to the measurement of infiltration, where we read about two different types of infiltrometer, the single ring infiltrometer and the double ring infiltrometer. And next we studied about another type of infiltrometer, that is the rainfall simulators. So these were the gadgets which we used to measure the infiltration, and we read briefly about them. And after that we started to discuss about the infiltration rate, and we got an equation, integral equation, by which we can get the cumulative infiltration. So now after we are done with this, in this part we will start with the infiltration equations. And to know about the infiltration equations, I'll tell you that the infiltration rate capacity curves which we used to obtain from this particular infiltrometers, those, if someone is conducting some experiment related to infiltrometer, you will see that you will be getting somehow one infiltration capacity rate curve, and that particular curve is a decaying curve. Okay, the decaying curve means from maximum value it will be reducing to minimum value. In other words, you can see it is a decreasing curve. So this particular rate curve will show that the infiltration is reducing with respect to time as we are proceeding further. And these mathematical expressions are given by 4 different scientists. There, first is the Horton's equation, second is the Phillips equation, third is the Kostiakov equation, and fourth is the Holton's equation. Though we are not going to derive these equations, but we will read about this equation, we will learn the formula, and we will try to know what are the different factors that are affecting that particular formula, or the factors that are included in that particular formula or equation. First is the Horton's equation. In Horton's equation, it is given by Ft is equal to Fc plus summation of plus F naught minus Fc whole multiplied by e to the power minus kt. So this is somehow written in the exponential form, this Horton's equation, and this f of t, the function of t, is known as the infiltration capacity, and it is measured in inches per hour. So you just note the unit that it is measured in inches per hour, and this gives us the infiltration capacity. Next is the Fc, and Fc is the minimum infiltration capacity. So there will be some minimum infiltration capacity of that particular soil sample which we are using for our study. So that will be considered first, that is considered as Fc. And then we also have F naught, that is the initial infiltration capacity. So at the initial stage there will be some amount of infiltration capacity that will be affecting that will be there in that particular soil. So we will consider that one also. So F naught is the initial infiltration capacity, and Fc is the minimum infiltration capacity. So F naught may not be equal to Fc, it might be some other value. There will be some different rate of infiltration that is occurring at the initial stage, and so the next term we are somehow defining it to be F naught minus Fc. So in any case the value of F naught is not going to be lesser than Fc. at least it has to be equal to Fc or it will be greater than Fc. So F0 minus Fc will be a valid term, a positive term, and then multiplied to e to the power minus kt, and k is the constant depending upon soil type and vegetable cover. So you can see that we are also depending upon the soil type, the type of soil that is being used and on which we are doing the study, or the type of soil that is available in that particular place, and also the vegetable cover that is there on that particular soil. So these two factors are also included, and these are dependent on this constant k. So these factors will influence this constant k, and we have t, that is the time since the start of the rainfall. So these are the 5 things which we are depending to get the Horton's equation of infiltration capacity. So this Horton's equation can be used to determine the infiltration capacity of a particular soil sample, given that you know the initial infiltration capacity, you know the minimum infiltration capacity, you know that you are measuring the time since the start of the rainfall, and also you have the idea of the soil type and vegetable cover. Provided all these things, you can get the infiltration capacity, and that should be in inches per hour. Just note that Fc is direct dependent upon hydraulic conductivity. So Fc, that is our minimum infiltration capacity, it somehow depends dependent upon the hydraulic conductivity. So more will be the hydraulic conductivity, more will be the minimum infiltration capacity. So suppose the soil is able to allow more amount of water passing through it, or seepage through it, water seepage through it. So certainly that the minimum infiltration capacity of that particular soil is going to have some higher value as compared to some other soil which has somehow a lesser hydraulic conductivity. So this is how Fc is influencing this particular equation. Next we have the Phillips equation, and you can see Phillips equation is given by F is equal to A plus S by 2 multiplied by t to the power minus 0.5. So we have two terms. So you can write anything, capital A, small a, that is up to your choice. But that A is the minimum infiltration capacity. This A is the minimum infiltration capacity, just as we had over here Fc. Horton given us Fc as the minimum infiltration capacity. Similarly, Phillips is giving us A as the minimum infiltration capacity, but the difference is that S by 2, where S is the initial infiltration capacity. Again, here Horton somehow got this initial infiltration capacity, and he was subtracting the minimum infiltration capacity with it, and it is multiplying it with some exponential terms. But Phillips is not doing the same thing. He is dividing it by 2. He is dividing the initial infiltration capacity by 2, and is multiplying it with the time factor t, multiplied t to the power minus 0.5. T is again the time since the start of rainfall. T has the same significance as we had in our Horton's equation. So this is our Phillips equation. Two advanced equations are also there. One is the Kostiakov equation, and then last one is the Horton's equation. The Kostiakov equation says that F is equal to A to the power A multiplied by T to the power N, and Horton's equation says that A F N P plus Fc. Okay. So this F to the power, this F N, P and C, there are some certain terms. Okay. So now in this equation, you don't think that A is the minimum infiltration capacity that we used in our Phillips equation. A is not the minimum infiltration capacity, and also N is also there. Two different terms are also there. So here in the above methods, A and N are the constant that depends on the soil moisture and vegetable cover. So Kostiakov is not depending upon the minimum infiltration capacity. He is also not depending on the initial infiltration capacity. Both Kostiakov and Horton, what they are depending on? They are depending on two constants, A and N, and these constants are somehow similar to that of the K which we read in the Horton's equation. That is, in Horton's equation, the K was the constant which depended upon the soil type and vegetable cover, and similarly in the Kostiakov and Halton's equation, A and N are two terms which are depending upon the soil moisture and vegetable cover. And again, Fc is the minimum infiltration capacity. Somehow Halton is depending upon the minimum infiltration capacity, and Fp, you can say that Fp is our initial infiltration capacity. So Halton is again depending upon the initial infiltration capacity and the minimum infiltration capacity, but he somehow also introducing the terms A and N that was developed by Kostiakov. So in other words, you can say Halton's equation is the most advanced form, because we are having two different terms, A and N, for our soil moisture and vegetable cover. We are not required to measure the time in this case in the Halton's equation. You can see that it is not dependent upon the T, unlike the previous equations which were always dependent upon the T, that is the time since the start of rainfall. Halton's equation doesn't depend on the time since the start of rainfall, but he will include the other factors, A, N, the initial and the minimum infiltration capacity also. Next is the infiltration indices. So now, what is an infiltration index? An infiltration index is simply the average infiltration rate, and we say that the average of the infiltration rate is known as the infiltration index. Suppose we are making a measure of the infiltration rates at certain hours. So suppose in the first hour some amount of infiltration rate was there in the first hour. In the second hour somehow it was having some less amount of infiltration rate, and in the next hour we are having somehow higher. So we are making some bar graphs like this, that in every hour we are measuring the infiltration rate, and we are making a bar graph of this particular thing. Now we will get one average value of all these infiltration rates for this certain period which we are measuring, and this average infiltration rate will be known as the infiltration index, and we will thus make one line and we will know about the infiltration index. I will show you the diagram in the later stage, and first of all you just try to know that there are two types of infiltration indices. One is the phi index, and another is the W index. Okay, and what we do that for consistency in hydrological calculation, a constant value of infiltration rate for the entire storm duration shall be adopted. So actually this in a particular storm, you see that the rainfall intensity is not same all the time, right? Whenever some storm or any rainfall is happening, you see that the intensity is always not the same. Sometimes it increases, sometimes it lessens, sometimes it remains constant for a particular period of time. It depends, it varies in many ways. But for our hydrological calculations, if we are having different values of this infiltration rate, so it will be difficult for us to interpret, or it will be difficult for the calculations which we are making. So the calculations will be somehow tougher. So what we are going to do, that we will be introducing this particular term known as the infiltration index, that is our phi index or the W index, and it will be an average of all these infiltration rates. Infiltration rate value we know, one is there, it is some inches per hour or millimeter per hour, whatever it will be, and again we will also make average of all these values, so that we have one particular value of our infiltration rate, or you can say that is our infiltration index. Phi index and W index are the two different infiltration indices, and they are extremely used for the analysis of the major floods when the soil is wet and the infiltration rate becomes constant. So now you are able to know what is the use of this phi index and W index. So whenever you are going to measure the flood, you are going to do some analysis of a particular flood, that as to when the flood will be coming, that is somehow separate thing. Wait, as to what can be the maximum intensity of this flood. Okay, at what time what amount of intensity, at what amount it will be more, Okay, what amount of flow that can be occurring, maximum amount of flow that can be occurring during this flood. All this analysis can be done with the help of this phi index and W index. Why is it so? Just look at this figure. This is the figure, and how we represent the phi index, you just go through it. See, these are the infiltration rates at various hours. Okay, intensity of rainfall, you are showing it over here. Okay, and you also know that the infiltration rate is also there, certain infiltration rate, and you are making this bar graph diagram. So you get the value of phi index. Okay, you try to get the value of phi index. To get the value of phi index, so here is the formula, that is phi is equal to I minus R divided by 24, where R is equal to alpha times I to the power 1.2, and this equation is developed by the Central Water Commission of India, CWC, that is the Central Water Commission of India, has developed this particular phi index formula. And in this, R is the runoff in centimeter of a 24-hour rainfall of intensity I. So you know that I is the intensity of the rainfall in centimeter per hour, and R is the runoff in centimeter for a 24-hour of rainfall. So this has to be measured in a period of 24 hours. Okay, so I is the rainfall. It is measured in per hour, centimeter per hour, certain centimeter per hour infiltration, certain centimeter per hour intensity of rainfall we are getting. Okay, we are keeping the record for the next 24 hours. Okay, so after this 24 hours, the total amount of runoff that will be occurring in centimeter, that is R, provided that I is the intensity of rainfall. Of course, this I has to be somehow an average value, so that we get one unique value of R. And then alpha is the coefficient that depends upon the soil type. Again, we have to consider the soil type, because the soil type is major thing which will induce our infiltration that will be occurring, and also the runoff that will be taking place, that the extra amount of water that will be flowing away, that runoff will be very much dependent upon the soil type, and also the infiltration, of course, for sure. Okay, so this is how you can obtain the value of phi index, and you will plot the value of phi index, will make the line like this. Okay, now what's the use of this? This phi index line, this line below which whatever amount you are seeing, this shaded portion you can see, this shaded portion or the dotted portion you can see, this amount of water will be infiltrated, or it will be this amount of water will be having seepage through the soil. Okay, the whatever part of this bar graph that is coming under this phi index, that will be, that much amount of water will be occurring seepage through the our ground or the soil. This extra amount, the not shaded portion, will be our excess water, and since this is the amount, maximum amount, this shaded portion is the maximum amount that will be having seepage in the ground. So in no way this some more amount of water can be having seepage to that particular soil, because a phi index is the maximum possible value. Okay, now beyond this, the extra amount of water, what will happen to this? This will add up to the runoff present in that particular catchment or that particular landmass, whatever you want to say. Okay, so sometimes if this runoff is in excess, what will happen? Flood will happen. So this is how our phi index is used to analyze whether we will be suffering from some major flood or not. So this is a very useful term for our hydrological engineers. Okay, so this is defined as the rate of the infiltration above which rainfall volume is equal to the runoff volume, that is the saturation point. So phi index is that part, okay, where that point of time where the rainfall volume is equal to the runoff volume, that is saturation. This is defined as the infiltration, the rate of infiltration above which the rainfall volume will be equal to the runoff volume. This is our phi index. So this phase is known as a saturation phase, where the rainfall volume will be also equal to the runoff volume. Okay, and that balance is known as our phi index. This line is the phi index. So above this will be our runoff, below this will be our infiltration. Phi index for a catchment during a storm depends on the soil type, vegetation cover, and the initial moisture conditions. So the initial moisture condition, it will be dependent upon it, because if certain amount of moisture is there, not much amount of water will be infiltrated through that particular soil. Okay, if it is a dry soil, not much moisture is there, some more amount can be infiltrated, so the chance of flood will be lesser. Okay, the vegetation cover, if there is some vegetation cover, it will not allow more amount of seepage, and therefore there is a chance that there will be some certain runoff. And even the soil type, if it is a clayey soil, not much infiltration will be taking place. If it is a sandy soil, it is very much porous, much infiltration will be taking place. So this is how our phi index of a particular catchment during a storm depends on these three factors. So the application of phi index is estimation of flood magnitudes due to the critical storms, as we have already discussed. This is our phi index formula developed by CWC. See, full form of CWC is Central Water Commission. Okay, this is a board, and mostly it constitutes of the IAS officers and SSC JE officers, and this is one of the most prestigious job in our country. Let's read the last point, that in estimating the maximum flood for design purpose, in absence of any other data, a phi index value of 0.1 centimeter per hour can be assumed. So suppose in a particular condition where you are about to estimate the maximum flood for a design purpose, if there is some absence of any other data, suppose if one data is not available, you are going to use this particular phi index formula. Suppose you are not having the value of this alpha. Okay, let's take it that you don't know about the type of the soil. You can assume that phi index value as 0.1 centimeter per hour for that particular phase of time. Next is the W index, and this is the average infiltration rate during the time when the rainfall intensity is greater than the infiltration rate. So previously phi index was considering the volume. Okay, where is it? Yeah, phi index was considering the volume. The difference between the phi index and W index is that in the W index we will consider the rate or the intensity. So, and also previously it was the saturation stage, that is the rainfall volume equal to runoff volume will be giving us a phi index. But in this case, if the rainfall intensity is greater than the infiltration rate, that will be our W index. So it will be somehow has to be greater than our infiltration rate. The point at which the rainfall intensity will be greater than the infiltration rate, that is known as our W index. The W index is given by this particular formula, P minus R minus IA divided by TF, that is equal to F by TF. So what is P? P is our total storm precipitation, R is the total surface runoff, IA is the depression and the interception losses, and TF is known as the time period of runoff. Sometimes IA is also known as the initial abstraction. In many books they are writing it as initial abstraction. In many problems you will find that initial abstraction is said. It is the same thing, that is our depression and interception losses. Okay, the W index is more accurate than phi index because it excludes the depression and interception, right? Because in our W index we are introducing this term, that is our depression and interception losses. Okay, but in phi index we are not considering such thing. See, only the runoff and the rainfall intensity. So therefore a W index will give us somehow more accurate value as compared to the phi index, because we are considering the depression and interception in the W index but not in the phi index. So as you know that we learnt about this one thing, that is the interception losses. So let's read what are the interception. That interception, it is a part of water caught by the vegetation and subsequently evaporated as either surface flow or stem flow or evapotranspiration. Suppose there is a place, okay, suppose this is a ground and some precipitation is occurring over here, okay. So it is expected that all the rainwater that will be falling, that shall be totally going to the soil. So depending upon the infiltration capacity, some will be actually infiltrated under the ground and the rest will be traveling off as the surface runoff. So this was an explanation for the barren land. Suppose there is certain vegetation over here, trees are over here, certain trees are over here. I have made some trees, I have planted some trees over here. So what will happen? The rainfall that will be falling over here, this part of the land, that will be normally having either infiltration or surface runoff depending upon the infiltration capacity of the soil. But what will happen to this rest part, where the plantation is there? What will happen? Due to the presence of this plant, not the total amount of rainfall will be going under the soil. So sometimes it happens now that whenever the certain rainfall is occurring, what we try to do? We try to shelter ourselves under a particular tree, right? What will happen? That if we go under the tree will somehow shelter us from the rainfall. So what is this reason? Because the tree will not be allowing that particular amount of rainfall to go to the soil beneath the tree, right? So the soil beneath the tree will not be receiving that amount of rainfall that it would be happening in case of a barren land, a land without any tree or vegetation. So this interception is somehow similar to that when we play soccer, we play football. Suppose I am passing it to my teammate, and somehow if the opponent comes, the defender of the opponent comes and tries to stop the ball before it reaches to my teammate. So that is known as our interception in football or soccer. So similarly, the interception is also the same thing in our this hydrological process, that if a raindrop which was supposed to reach to the land from the cloud, it is not able to reach to the land, it is somehow collected by the tree, and after it is collected by the tree, what will happen? Either it will induce to the surface flow. There might be a chance that it can contribute to the surface flow, because that tree might not take up that water. It will drip down the branches to the ground, and again it will be resulting in the surface flow. Or there can be some stem flow, if the plant uses it up for the stems. If a certain amount of water is there inside the stems, that is retaining in the stems or the leaves, sometimes you will see that after a rainfall, if you are trying to shake one tree, some amount of water will be falling on your face, and this is because there will be certain stem flow, some water will be accumulated due to the stem flow. And finally, there is the evapotranspiration. If for the process of the photosynthesis they are taking up this rainwater, and they will further evaporate it through their openings in their leaves known as the stomata, and that will be the evapotranspiration. So this is our interception, and it is actually a loss to the particular hydrological process. For a given storm, the interception loss is estimated by this formula, that is I small I is equal to SI plus KIET, where II is the interception loss in mm. Okay, II is the interception loss in mm, which we are about to calculate, and with the help of which, that is the SI is the interception storage, and it varies from 0.25 to 125 millimeter depending on the nature of the vegetation. So SI is the interception storage, and it varies from 0.25 to 1.25 mm, and that depends on the nature of the vegetation. Ki is the ratio of vegetal surface area to its projected area. The Ki is the ratio of the vegetal surface area to the projected area. So projected area is the whatever area that is available to us in that particular land, and the vegetal surface area that is available. Total vegetal surface area divided by the total projected area that is open to us. ET is the evaporation rate in millimeter per hour during the precipitation. So the evaporation rate is also considered ET, and T is the duration of rainfall in hours. So this is how we get the value of our interception loss in millimeter. This is our formula. So some vital points that you shall know, that W index is the refined version of phi index, right? W index is the refined version of phi index, and initial losses IA are separated from the total abstractions, right? IA are separated from the total initial losses. IA are separated from total abstractions, okay? And W index is equal to phi index minus IA. Okay, so that is the term which is devoid in phi index, that is IA, so that is included in our W index. The accurate measurements of W index is rather difficult to obtain, hence phi index is most commonly used. Now this accurate measurement of W index, so it is not possible all the time to denote what is our initial losses IA taking place. So at that time what we do, we just consider that phi index is the only possible way to us, so that therefore phi index is the most commonly used as compared to W index, but know for sure that W index give us the correct result. Okay, now since the retention rate is very low, both in the W index and phi index are almost same, because if the retention rate is very low, so that won't affect for both our phi index and W index. So this was all about the theory related to our this infiltration, and now we will be discussing some numericals related to infiltration.
Let's read this question right now. That assuming the infiltration rate of 10 mm per hour initial and 5 mm per hour final. So the initial infiltration rate is given 5 mm per hour, 10 mm per hour, and the final is given 5 mm per hour, and a constant value for soil type and vegetation cover as 0.95 per hour is given. Calculate the total infiltration depth for a storm lasting 6 hours. So you can see that we are given the initial and the final infiltration rate, and we are also given a constant value for soil type and vegetation cover, and it is 0.95 per hour. So it's like a rate of decay. Okay, so and also the time is given as 6 hours. So that we will be considering later on. First we will need to calculate the infiltration rate, and now as you are seeing that we are having some constants which are quite similar to what is there in our Horton's equation. So let's write the Horton's equation. The Horton's equation is given as, so how is the Horton's equation is written? Horton's equation is F T is equal to F C plus F naught minus F C multiplied by e to the power minus kt. Okay, so let's do one thing. We are having this equation is the Horton's equation, and its theory we have just discussed quite a few minutes ago, and if you are still in doubt, you can just see the theory and just recapitulate what's the formula. And also the notes is given in the description. The link for the notes is given in the description. You can go through it. So the Horton's equation is somehow like this, where Fc is our final, you can say Fc is the final infiltration rate 5 mm per hour, and F0 will be the initial one. So we can write it somehow like this, that Ft is equal to 5 plus 10 minus 5 e to the power minus kt. So k is given as 0.95 per hour, so I can also write it as Ft is equal to 5 plus 10 minus 5 e to the power minus and it will be 0.95 minus 0.95 minus kt, so k will be 0.95, so it is minus 0.95 t. I am not going to substitute t as 6 hours. Okay, what I will do is that, as we had studied that we can also calculate the cumulative infiltration. Okay, and they are asking for the next 6 hours, for a storm of 6 hours. Okay, so every hour it will be cumulatively added the whatever infiltration is happening. Okay, so let's do the cumulative addition, and we know that cumulative infiltrations, the equation, there was an infiltration equation, and that was somehow like capital Ft is equal to integral of 0 to t small ft dt. So we can put this equation over here, and in terms of t from 0 to 6 we can calculate the capital Ft, that is for storm of 6 hours. Okay, let's do this. So F for 6 hours will be equal to integral of 0 to 6, and our Ft is 5 plus 5 e to the power minus 0.95 t, and we have dt. So let's integrate this one. On integration it will be somehow 5 t 5, so 5 will be a constant, and here there is no term, so it will be integrated as t. 5t, it will be 0 to 6, it's simple integration, and plus 5 will be the constant again for this term, and it will be e to the power minus 0.95 t divided by minus 0.95, simple integration, and it will be from 0 to 6. Okay, it will be from 0 to 6. This is the integration, and let's further simplify this. 5 6 minus 0 plus 5, and it will be minus will be coming out, minus, and it is e to the power minus 0.95 t times 6 and it will be divided by 0.95 minus e to the power 0 divided by 0.95. It is minus 0.95. So now on simplification we will get as 630 plus 5 divided by 0.95 minus and minus, it will be plus 0.95 multiplied by e to the power 0 minus e to the power minus 5.70. It is coming as 5.70. Sorry, it will be 0.95 into 6. 0.95 into 6. Okay, minus 5.70 it is. Okay, and on simplifying this, we will get it equal to 35.25 mm. So therefore for 6 hour stone we have total infiltration of 35.25 mm. For a given catchment of area 30 km square has one recording gauge and the rainfall is recorded as like this. So for a catchment is given whose area is 30 km square, and in that catchment one recording gauge is there and it measures the rainfall somehow like this. At the interval starting from at the time of 0 to 14th hour, at an interval of 2 hours, it is measuring rainfall, and we have the accumulated rainfall, and it is most probably in millimeter. It is in millimeter. In the question it is in millimeter. Okay, so this is the accumulated rainfall. So it's like that, it is the cumulative addition of the rainfall that is occurring every hour. So at the initially it was 0. In the next 1 hour there was a rainfall of 6 mm, next 2 hour, and in the next 4th hour there is an accumulated rainfall of 17 mm. So what does that mean? There was a rainfall of 11 mm depth in this 2 hours. 17 minus 6 is 11. Similarly in the 6th hour it is having 57 mm of rainfall. So 57 minus 17 is 40. So 40 mm of rainfall will be occurring in this particular 2 hour phase. So now what we have to find out, if the volume of runoff due to the storm measured is 1.2 times 10 to the power 6 meter cube. So this is our runoff given. We have to estimate the phi index of the catchment. And in the second part, if there is an interception loss of 0.8 centimeter depth, find the W index of the catchment. So we have to find phi index in the first case and W index in the second case. So let's do it. The first case, the total runoff. Okay, the total runoff is given as runoff R is given as 1.2 times 10 to the power 6 meter cube. This is in volume. The total runoff is given. So we have a catchment area. Catchment area. This is in volume. The catchment area is given. Catchment area is given 30 kilometer square. Okay, so therefore what will be the value of, so let us take this as small r. So the value of our r, that is the actual runoff, is runoff in depth. We have r is equal to 1.2 10 to the power 6 divided by 30 multiplied by 10 to the power 6. Because it is in kilometer square, we are converting it to meter square. So the answer is coming out to be around 0.04 meter, which is equal to 40 millimeter. So this is our runoff depth in terms of depth. Okay, previously it was in terms of volume. Okay, let's write it as capital R only. It was in volume. and now we have calculated in depth, because most of the calculations will be on the basis of the depth. Okay, so the intensity of rainfall, I, intensity of rainfall, I, is given as, in terms of depth, it is 90 mm per hour in terms of depth. 90 mm, sorry, not in hour, 90 mm depth. Okay, 90 mm depth is given our rainfall intensity, and 40 mm depth is our runoff. So now our phi index, as we know that phi index is equal to I minus R by 24, and it is for a 24-hour rainfall. But here it is, everything is given in terms of 14 hour. Okay, all that rainfall and runoff and whatever is there, it is in terms of this 14 hour. So we are going to do that. We are going to get it in 14 hours only. So it will be 90 minus 40, rainfall is 90 and runoff is 40, divided by 14, and it is equal to 50 by 14, and it is equal to 3.57. This is in millimeter per, this is in hour. So 3.57 millimeter per hour is our phi index. Next, in the second part, we are asked to find the W index of the particular catchment. Okay, so the W index will be given by W index is given by P minus R minus I divided by the TF. Let us say it is our time 14 hours only. So the P will be, it will be 90 divided by 6 for that particular 6 hours. Okay, minus, sorry, 90 divided by 14 for that particular no, it will not be 14. So it is equal to 90 minus runoff was 40 minus the interception will be 8, and it is divided by 14. So it is equal to 42 by 14, and it is equal to 3 millimeter per, oops, it is equal to 3 millimeter per hour. So this is our W index. So you can see that the value of W index is lesser than the value of the phi index, and it is because in phi index we do not consider the interception losses. That's why the phi index is somehow higher as compared to our W index. W index gives us the correct results, but in many cases our interception loss is not possibly be measurable in many cases. So we consider 3.57 millimeter per hour, that is our phi index for that particular case. So this was all about our infiltration. In the next part we will be starting about the hydrographs in the ninth part of the video, and till then please like and share my video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and please post any kinds of doubt if you are having in the comment section, and notes for this particular chapter, the link is given in the description. Thank you.